So this is the simplest RAG agent that only took me around 10 minutes to build. So I'm going to give a quick demo and I'm going to open the chat here. And I'm going to quickly just ask what was Adidas's net income in 2024. And we're going to hit run. So you can see here that we've received our answer, which is 824 million euros, as well as our source here and quote. So if we just copy the quote here, and if we do a quick find here and paste the quote in, we can see that the quote came directly from the PDF. So now that you guys have seen the live demo, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how you can create this workflow right now. And also feel free to follow along as I'm building if you'd like. So the platform we're going to be using today is called Pinecone, and we're going to be using it as a RAG search. And if you haven't heard of Pinecone before, it's a large-scale vector database platform. But the thing we're most interested in today is this assistance tab on the left side of the screen here. So we're just going to click on that. And we're prompted with this welcome to assistance page here. And what I want to do now is I want to guide you guys through on how you can create your own assistants so that you can have this skill for yourself. So we're just going to go ahead and hit create assistant here. And for a name, we're just going to give it test. And then we're going to hit create an assistant. And once you've created this assistant and your status has been fully initialized, the first thing we can notice is that this is really similar to the interface of a custom GPT, like ChatGPT, for example, or something from relevance.com. Which is really cool because it has like a prompt box here and you could type in prompts. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import the annual reports from both Adidas and Nike right here. And we're just going to go ahead and hit import. And you can see here that our files are fully uploaded now. And if we just look at the Adidas yearly report, we can look at one of these stats here and then we can go ahead and ask a question to the assistant to see if it's taken back that data from the PDF. So if we just go ahead and ask this question, which is what is the value of operating profit for Adidas during 2024? And we should receive a response from Pinecone. And you can see that we've received a response back from the question, which was the operating profit of Adidas in 2024 was 1,337 million euros, which represented an increase of more than 1 billion euros compared to the prior year of 268 million euros in 2023. And we can also see that our data store is working because of this little citation mark here, and also saying that this data was taken from pages 4, 5, or 6 from the PDF. And the way that this works is through the API setup over here, which is what we are using to communicate with the Pinecone system. And if you just look on the right side of the screen here, there are two different requests that we can complete. And the first one is to upload files. The second is to chat with the assistant. And because our files have already been uploaded to the database, the upload files request won't be necessary, and therefore we will only be focused on the chat with your assistant request for today. And now we're back in n8n, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be adding an AI agent into our workspace. And now we can link our AI agent to our Pinecone assistant that we just created. And because we don't have access to the Pinecone assistant node inside of n8n, we do have access to the vector store node, but we're trying to look for the assistant node. We're just going to be setting up a HTTP request so that we can still use the API endpoint from the Pinecone website. So we're back on the Pinecone platform now, and to find our request code, we just want to head over to this connect button here. Also make sure your language is selected as shell and not Python. Then you want to scroll down to the chat of your system box here. And we don't want to copy the entire command, but only everything from the third line down. So we're just going to go to the third line here and copy all of this. So we're going to be leaving out the first two lines here, which we won't be needing. So we're back in n8n now in our HTTP request node, and we're just going to hit import curl here and paste in the curl that we just copied. So we've imported our curl and all of our fields have been filled in, except there are a few changes we're going to make. So the first thing that needs changing is our API key here. And if you just head back over to the Pinecone platform, to find our keys, we just go to API keys over here, and then we can create our API key right here. So once we're back inside of n8n and we've pasted in our key, we're just going to scroll up to the description, and we're going to change this here. So we've written this description here that says use this tool to talk to your knowledge base, and we're also just going to change the title here to Pinecone to keep things organized. And lastly, we just want to head down to the actual request itself, which is here, because we will need to change the content here. And the reason why this is important to change is that no matter what input we give to the AI, this query will always be sent directly to the AI, meaning that if we're asking a query specified towards one of our PDFs that we inputted, this question will be asked, so the AI will get confused and you'll probably get a lot of errors. Now, in order to change this to a dynamic request, we're just going to exit out of this first and change this to expression. And then we're just going to open this back up again. So we're just going to remove the content from inside the quotation marks here. And in order to have our agent search for a new query every time, we need to enter a string. So we're just going to say double curly brackets on each side, and we're going to do $JSON dot chat input. So now we're just going to go ahead and test our agent. Before we test it, we're just going to quickly add a model. And I'm just going to use OpenReal. If you haven't got your credentials set up, I have a few videos on this already, so you can just go check them out. Now I was going to go ahead and pop this chat open here and say, what was the total number of employees at Nike in 2024? And I'm just going to hit enter there. And we can see our workflow was a success, and we can see that we got a response here back from the assistant, which says as of May 31st, 2024, Nike had approximately 79,400 employees worldwide, including retail and part-time employees. And if we just take a look back at the Nike PDF, this is a true fact, as stated right here. However, at the moment, we don't have any prompt set up in the AI agent, hence why we haven't received any sort of references or sources from this text like we did on the Pinecone platform. So what we will do is we'll just quickly hide the chat, we'll open the AI agent, and we'll just give this a system prompt. So we'll select system message here. So I've just pasted in my prompt here, and I've said, you are an AI agent specialized in analyzing company report data. Use your Pinecone tool to search through the reports for Nike and Adidas. Always provide a reference to your sources when responding to user queries, including the document, page, section, and exact text-based quote from the original source. And making this section here in particular clear to the agent is very important, as we want to confirm that all of the information that we're getting back is real information and comes from a real source. So we want to just test if that prompt is working. So we're just going to open chat again, and we're going to send through the same input as we did before. So we're just going to hit run now. So we can now see that the information was from the 2024 Nike report on pages 9 and 10. And the source is also shown here, which is from the Nike PDF. The only thing that we're missing now is our exact quote from the source, because we're only being given a summary here, but not the exact quote. And the way that we fix this is by specifying a new request to the Pinecone assistant. So we're in the documentation for the chat interface assistant for Pinecone, and if you guys want to find this documentation, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. And on the right side of the screen here, we have a few different features that include different requests that you can implement into your assistant, but the one that we're going to be using is the include citation highlights in the response. And we won't be needing the whole curl command, but because we want to just include the quote alone, we're just going to go down here to where it says include highlights true, and we're going to copy that and head back over to n8n. So back in n8n, I'm just going to open up our HTTP request, and we're going to scroll down to the code, open this, and we're just going to create a new line here and paste in our new request. And also don't forget to add a comma here to separate them. So now we just want to really quickly test that our new request is working. So we're just going to open chat, and we're going to say, where are Nike's footwear and apparel produced? Just going to hit enter. And we can now see that as well as our summary, we also have access to all these quotes directly from our source. So we know that this is verified information. So I hope you guys found this workflow useful. And if you guys want access to this agent, I'm going to be leaving a link to my free school community in the description below, where there will be a download file available for this specific workflow. And if you guys found this useful, just leave a like and subscribe. And also you can comment down below what workflows you'd like to see next. Anyways, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.